Welcome back to another episode of Under the Floorboard. Today we've got another exciting guest. So myself, Sean Spalding, my co-host is Steve McAvaney, and today you might have seen him on TikToks, on YouTubes, on Homes Under the Hammer, maybe peering through your window in the kitchen, who knows? But today we have John Morris.
Hello there. What's happening?
Brilliant, mate. Thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Really exciting. We were just saying that before that I think it's quite, well for me, and time this actually airs, maybe not, but the conversation we were having the other day about auction, and we we're looking at one on your site just now, and sometimes auction can get this kind of stigma around it of, oh, it's scary, no, don't do that. So it'd be kind of cool to kind of break down some of those myths, if you will, without this. But I think I've heard some of this before, but what I'd love to know is, how did auction come about for you?
It, kind of by luck. So my old man is a solicitor, and I did property development and valuation at university, which sounds very fucking fancy. But what it does is that basically allows you to then start my qualified surveyor, and then to get a job you would go through and get your RICS and stuff like that. But the idea of doing home reports made me want to shoot myself in the head. I was like, fuck that. So thankfully for me, my old man had a contact at an auction house and was like, why don't you go get some experience there? Because they weren't willing to pay me. It was like, we not really need anybody. We'll kind of like
an internship.
Yeah, exactly that. So I did an internship for them for a year. And also I was just like, literally starting making the teas. But I mean, as you both know, I'm happy to jump on the phone and fucking talk to anybody whenever it is. So I just kind of took to it quite well. And then they wanted to set up an Edinburgh office, and I was staying in Edinburgh at the moment. And they're like, so do you want to do that for us? And I was like, no, I just want to intern for you for free for forever.
I don't know.
And make the teas. Like, fucking of course, man. Give me a job. This is what I'm doing. Because I actually went for like a meeting with like one of the directors of Knight Frank and stuff after I qualified. And he was like, you're going to have to, basically you go through a couple of rounds of interviews, and then you're going to have to do a presentation and all that stuff. And I'd just done uni, and I was like, for all intents and purposes, I had a great time at uni. Yeah. But how much learning did I actually do? Like I learned maybe like three things that I use daily. But auctions was just kind of, it was a path for me as a salesman to go into, and it also used property, which I was kind of always wanted to do, because my dad did tell me that you were really good at property, which I never fucking understood until I did it. And basically just means like I'm a very good middleman and being able to piece people together and do stuff like that. So luck largely. And then connections is, it's one of those things that if my dad had not known these people that were willing to take me on, ultimately, maybe if I was a little bit special and they were like, fucking, we don't want this guy to work. In saying that, some of the shit I used to do when I was interning, it's surprising they actually gave me a job. Everyone sees what I'm like on social media. That's me in a nutshell. I'm not any different. So ultimately, they could have looked one way and like, why are we going to hire this guy? But instead they were like, this guy doesn't take him too seriously. He's also willing to get on the phones and speak and sell. Done. So that's kind of luck and then willingness to do it. Because I was working in a restaurant full time.
Then your first job in a restaurant?
So so after uni I was setting up marquees and stuff, because it'd give you all the hours under the sun. And then I ended up getting a job as a waiter in a restaurant, and then I was doing rickshaws at night.
Oh, right.
So I was just like manual labour. I'm like, I can do that. It's just fucking
get after and away.
Exactly. So then my one day off a week, I would go through to Glasgow and then intern for them. So I was working every day under the sun and just willing to do that.
Decent.
So maybe they saw that work ethic in me and were like, let's give this guy a job.
He's an idiot. He's a good laugh.
He's a fun idiot. Yeah.
Good. See, when you started Prime, did you obviously your type of character, the type of marketing, the way that you bring things along, was that right? This is what we're going to do. This is our brand. Were you forcing that, or did it just develop?
I think it just kind of developed. The personal brand thing has always been. That's kind of the main reason I ended up leaving, because my old employer were like, we don't want you having any social media presence, that you don't need it, you don't do that. And I was like, no, like I've got loads of good connections, I've got loads of good clients, I've got loads of people who want to buy, I've got loads of people who want to sell purely for doing this. So it just kind of, it's evolved a little bit. I didn't think I would be as willing to do as much of the shit that the media team want me to do. But when we hired Nathan, that was one of the questions, because especially when we hired our media guy, people think you're coming to work for a property like sales agency. So I'm going to be going and taking the photographs of the house. And we were like, no, we have a photographer to do that. You need to create media around what we're doing day to day.
Yeah.
And he's like, so what do you do? Do you go out to the properties? Do you do this? Do you do that? Like, not really. We're kind of like in the office all the time and we make sales calls. And he's like, how
do you make that fun?
Yeah, how do you want me to make that fun? And I was like, this is why we're hiring you. Like, you fucking
we don't know.
figure
You
that out. So,
do your job.
And I think it is, he did ask, he's like, would you be open to skits? And I looked him dead in the eye. I was like, fuck yes. Yeah. Like, of course I will. Like, whatever. It's all about attention.
Was he your first marketer that you got in?
So this is the common misconception, right?
I was going to say, like, them bringing that idea to you has to fit that character and like, they need to have that idea initially to go, they actually might suit this, and also use of.
So he actually used to work for Paul.
Right, okay.
He used to work for Paul McFadden. And Nathan is fantastic, and he's a very good editor, and he's also hilarious.
His videos he puts up is unreal.
So like, he I think it was one of those, he's just kind of amplified what goes on, and obviously if you're creating a reel, you've only got like 30 seconds to a minute to be able to encapsulate stuff, which he manages to do really well. We've actually got obviously now Matthew on board as well, who's also excellent, and they're friends from college and uni.
The toilet in office.
Exactly.
Because of toilets,
yes, because of his terrible idea for the Lunar New Year.
So you get a bad idea, you get punted to the toilet.
Which died a death. But I think it's evolved from willingness to put ourselves out there, because the more people who know who I am and know that I can sell the property, the more people will give us properties, the more properties we can sell ultimately. So it was more just, and I'm a fucking egomaniac by the, for all intents and purposes.
Really? Do you think, see the Homed Under the Hammer stuff? Is that a thing, like they contact every auction house? Like every auction house, or is that something because of your presence online helped get you there? So that's
it's a network thing. So one of my good clients, he's a bridging lender, and he just happens to be friends with Martel William. It's the Martel Maxwell. Sorry, so
nice
on the school run, Martel was basically saying like, "Oh, how's things going?" He's like, "Oh yeah, it's all good." She's like, "I just wish we'd get more properties in Scotland." And Stephen's like,
hello.
He literally was like, he's like, you need to speak to Big John. Like, he's fucking selling loads of houses.
But the guy's got to be a bit of a character.
So they, the BBC actually took us out to Glen Eagles for the day. Had a nice day with them, and then she was like, "Can you give us properties in Scotland?" I was like, "Yeah, say no more." So ultimately, once the property sells, we ask the buyer if they want to be on the show, and then if they say yes, put them in contact and they arrange everything. If they say no, they may say sorry. But then it's quite frustrating, because a lot of the properties that would be perfect for the show, either the person doesn't want to be on it, or for whatever reason it's like, oh well, I don't want to be on TV, or the person's like, I don't actually want people knowing I've got any money, so I'd rather just keep it low. And then the ones that people are like, yeah, I'd love to do it, you're like, you bought a turnkey investment.
Shit.
Like, what
we gonna do with this one? Yeah. Put a tenant in it.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like
perfect kitchen. You're like,
we actually we sold a flat to Sally Baird, and she got a really good deal, and she owned another one in the building, so she knew our numbers on it.
Yeah.
And the person that was selling it, I think she had a daughter in it, and she was like, she's now not at uni, I just want to sell it, and I'm happy for this price. Sally came in, made the offer, boom, done deal. And I went to check it out, and I was like, what have you done in here? She was like, I painted the bedroom. So like stuff like that, it's like you don't need to do massive work on it as well. She obviously dressed it and made it look nice for the reval and stuff. But the majority of stock we actually sell is not mentally like, oh my God, it needs absolutely everything done to it. It's usually just tart it up, make it look a little bit nicer.
Because back to my point I made at the start there, like people have this stigma of you get a house or flat or whatever from auction, there's no roof, the joists are all rotted, windows all need done, everything needs done. It was like a paint, and they got a really good deal.
Yeah.
So you
do get the ones that obviously need everything done, but
and you can make money from them. Yeah. But it's understanding like not everything is like that. Just because it went through auction for various reasons. Not so just because
there's three main reasons. It's tenanted, and the seller doesn't want to kick out the tenants, so they're just happy. Another investor's going to buy this anyway. It's an investment property, so and I'll give a discount because maybe the rent's a little bit low than what it should be. Happy to sell that. Yeah. Investors understand, at least if somebody's paying a deposit, they're tied in to that deal.
Yep.
Then there's properties that have been on with an estate agent and they've not sold for whatever reason, and the sellers are just like, look, I need this sold now. So they come to us. And then it's executory cases. So those are the top 3 ones of why people come to us, especially if it's an inherited property and they just want rid of it. Sometimes they're not overly bothered about getting the maximum value for it. They just want the security of like, I'm done with this. There's too much. I don't want to go back in the house, all that stuff. Because you know yourselves, estate agents will go into properties like that and they go, if you spend £10,000 on this property, then we'll get you X. And
4 million for it.
And it's like, but I don't want to spend any money. I've inherited this property. It's not something that I bought myself. I just want to get it sold.
Yeah,
so that's where we come in. We can get it sold, and then the person that does want to go in and spend the money, they can either keep it, rent it out, or sell it on for a profit.
And you've got that commitment fee as well, so that really secures I suppose from the seller's point of view, they're like, right, cool, if somebody makes an offer, take a deposit and they're committed to do it.
Yeah.
So it gives them a bit more confidence it's going to go through and not fall through. Things probably still can at times for various reasons again, but more often than not it goes through.
Yeah.
And see, for a new person coming in, never done auction before, terrified, probably thinks of car auctions. It's probably where I think that reputation comes from. What kind of things would you be telling them to prep and to be ready before they come and meet you? Because you must get it all the time.
It's ultimately have your money in place. Like, too many people are willing to, like, because I know it's like Rich Dad Poor Dad is a perfect example of it. It's like, find a deal and then worry about how to fund it after. That's fine for the most part. You want to have a good deal flow. But if you're buying something at auction and you don't have a penny to your name, it's a quick way to get sued, first of all, and it's a quick way to burn bridges. So if you don't have the funds to pay a deposit, then you probably shouldn't be, one, looking to buy properties anyway, and especially definitely not at auction. So the first one is like, have funds available to buy something, and then second would be check out the home report, speak to someone you know who's in the industry, trust, speak to a builder, see what it is. And then run the numbers. I mean, I'm a numbers guy. It's like, people can be like, oh, well, there's a 3 in the home report for windows. It needs new windows in. How much are new windows? Okay. Yep. Once you put them in, what else you got to need to do? I need a new kitchen. How much does a kitchen cost?
Yeah.
Like, we obviously do our video tour. We do our photographs. We put a floor plan together. You can see it all. Like the joys of COVID were actually that it kind of did enhance the property industry because nobody was doing video tours before COVID, and afterwards it's like, if you're not doing video tours, you're in the past.
You see the kind of 360 ones, we could actually like almost virtually be inside walking about.
Yeah, the Matterport. They're really good. We haven't used them yet because we've obviously got our guy doesn't have that camera, but I think almost the moving of actually like a video walkthrough is sometimes good, because ultimately when you're doing the Matterport, it is just stills as well. Sometimes it's good to get the moving image.
But you see sometimes videos like walking around, it's pure rapid, like, whoa, get dizzy here. But
so I'm going to neck this because I need some ginger in my life. Is it? Have I to leave this?
No, you have to drink it.
Is this a part of the show that I've just fucked up?
No. It's definitely come up. I'm glad you had your eyes on it, and then you can do it.
I love these, man.
I do as well.
Mate, I love them.
I got this because Sean once told me that his spiciest thing he'd ever ate was a korma. And I was like that.
Maybe that's chasney because it's chicken tikka chasney.
I was like that result. I'm going to find hundreds of spicy stuff and laugh at them.
To be fair, I think the spiciest thing was I was on a plane going to, I think it was going to Zante or Ryan Appa, and ordered a chicken tikka masala on the plane. It was fucking roasting. I was like, I cannot do spice at all.
My wife started making like homemade one of these. Fucking hell, man. I was like,
oh, the homemade one?
Yeah. I was like, what have you put in there? She's like, I think I put too much.
Really?
Yeah.
By the way, just going back, nobody eats korma on a plane.
It was chicken tikka masala on the plane.
Nobody's eating curry off a plane.
I don't know why I wanted to try it. I had never tried it before. Less than experience it. I put on my Instagram yesterday, or the day before, I can't remember, about questions they want to ask, and a couple of repetitive ones that we were going to cover anyway, but you kind of said things to look out for, but what's the kind of risks of buying auction, I suppose, or any of the riskiest, not riskiest, but I don't want to say horror story, but like things I've seen going terribly wrong at auction that people are like, here's the issue, but like, make sure you don't do that.
Massive repair. So basically what will happen is, say a property has got an NPL, so it's a note of potential liability. right? If the repairs are not carried out, the council can come in and actually force the order. They'll do the work. So say if it needs a new roof, external work's done. So they'll go out, they'll put a new roof on, and then a bill will be put on each flat.
Right.
So it's quite prevalent in Govan Hill with, say, slum landlords that have just owned it for ages. They maybe don't collect their mail, whatever, and then the works get done and that bill gets slapped on it. They charge incremental interest on that. So say if a bill get put on like 10 years ago, then it can be like, what the fuck is going on here? But that's why, so you would get a PEC, a property inquiry certificate. So you just have you get your solicitor to run searches on the property and you get a property inquiry certificate to make sure that everything's clear. I mean, I sold a property in Edinburgh once that had a bill on it for 140 grand. It was a repo.
Is that just because of interest?
Yeah, but then I spoke to the buyer and he's like, I got it knocked down to 15 grand. I was like,
I think sometimes councils just like, just
give it something. So yeah, I mean, it's...
And what does the legal pack hold then?
So the legal pack is, all that is required in the legal pack is the title and the contract with the Articles of Right, which basically says this property will be sold at auction. This is the person who owns it. This is the completion date. The title shows ownership, and you can have some people, when they're providing a legal pack, will have searches in it. Some will put a property inquiry certificate in it. Some won't, because it's just it's extra things that you have to pay your solicitor to put together. Yeah. So it's like, what most people do is, well, I'll just get the title. And then if you want to buy it, you have your solicitor run the searches and do all that from it.
Because that must be just like inexperienced, isn't it? That you're just taking a legal pack and then you're buying it.
But then people phone me up and say, oh, I'm looking at the legal pack. What is a burden? And I'm like, you're not meant to read the legal pack. No. It's not for you.
I put a legal pack. It was the burdens on it. The burden, I think it was actually one of yours. It was like 3 pages long. I'm like, what? I put it through ChatGPT. And I says, summarise this as if a child was reading it. And then it's just said like what a burden was. I'm like, great, I know what a burden is. Can you elaborate on each point? And I actually broke it all down. I'm like, I understand that now.
Yeah.
By all means, this is not advice to use ChatGPT to make an auction purchase.
Imagine solicitors listening to this podcast and being like, oh, for fuck's sake. They are going to get replaced by AI.
I know. But I mean, like, for somebody reading it, maybe, yes, 100% go and get your solicitor to read it and make sure you're good. But if you just want to understand, like, in layman's terms, what this kind of means, then that was good for me to kind of understand it. But if it was going ahead and purchase, do it right.
Yeah. You want to, I mean, a lot of the people who get burned at auction, so to speak, are people that have made drastic decisions. Oh, I'm going to buy this. And they've done no diligence at all on it. And then they've either overpaid or they've not read there's something in the legal pack for whatever reason. And then they're like, oh, fuck. Because it's a quick way to lose money. So if you pay the deposit, it's non-refundable.
Yeah.
And also, you kind of, so say you bought a property for £50,000 and then you didn't complete on it. So you pay your deposit, you didn't complete. You've obviously lost your deposit, your fees, everything like that. If that seller then has to sell the property and they sold it for £30,000, you're actually liable for their loss.
For the difference.
So they could sue you for 20.
No, really?
That's really the issue there. Most people, if they can't complete, there's kind of an agreement that's put in place between both solicitors. Okay, we will forfeit our deposit on the basis that you don't pursue us for any loss of further funds. Sometimes. That's
and is it generally 28 days, is it? Normally about?
So most auction contracts, standard conditions are 28 days. But we work a little bit differently, ultimately, because we qualify our buyers. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people like just, oh, I've got an offer, it's come in, or will you take it? Whereas we were like, okay, you've made this offer. How are you funding this purchase? Are you cash? Are you mortgage? I mean, if anybody's made an offer with us, they'll know the spiel that all the sales guys give them. Because there's no point in me phoning you up and saying, I've got an offer, it's 100 grand, and you're like, fucking yippee. And then the guy needs, because even a bridge does not take 4 weeks anymore. It takes about 6 weeks. Because depending on who you're getting the money from. So we always, if it's bridge, we say it usually takes about 6 weeks. We'll give you 6 weeks to complete if you're buying. If it's a mortgage, we say standard 8 to 10 weeks. Depends on, but we'll always say to the seller, look, we've got an offer, but the person needs a mortgage. We're not saying it's subject to mortgage, not at all. We're saying we'll give the buyer enough time to facilitate getting their mortgage in place. If they can't get their mortgage for whatever reason, they still lose their deposit because we've given them enough time to get their mortgage in place. They fucked it. But if you just came in and just offered, I mean, with other people, it's like, oh yeah, they've offered this, and they've got no idea. and then it's like, oh, well, I need a mortgage. It's like it's all done after the fact. We do it up front because there's no
Yeah.
point. Especially when we want to build relationships with buyers as well as sellers. Because obviously you want to get the property sold, but the buyer is the person that wants to buy it. You're happy with the price, excellent. The only difference is instead of a standard 4 weeks, they want 8 weeks. Are you happy with that? No, you're not. Fine. Would you settle on 6 weeks? Yes, cool. We'll go back to them. If anybody buys in the live auction online, it's 4 weeks. So that's why we obviously we tell anybody if you want to bid and you need a mortgage, don't bid in the live auction because you will be held to the 28 days.
It's almost like you need your ducks in a row with the money first, don't you? Like,
that's
you need
the
the
most
cash in your
important
hand to be going, I've got enough to pay bills and deposit, and I've already been speaking to whoever to get a bridge or a loan way before it.
Yeah.
I take it before all the online, I guess, auction stuff come in, like were you in the live the gavel and that?
Yeah.
Like, can you spot like first time bidders? Would you put it as a bidder?
So
First time buyers
what
at an
used to
auction?
frustrate me endlessly about the live auctions is you just see the same people come every time, and they'd have their pen, the catalogue, and they write down what the bids end at. Property's not selling. That you're gathering no data. You're gathering no data because say
That's like old age due diligence. Going on right move for sold prices. They go to auctions.
But that's my point. They're not looking at sold prices. They're taking bids that have not been accepted.
No.
So it's like, so say a property was opening bids £100,000 and it got run to 105 and they're right 105, not sold. It's like, what are you gaining from that?
No.
So because then people will come like, I'll offer you 100. It's like, well, you're at the auction, you saw it went to 105. Like, I don't understand the data that you're trying to gather from that.
Are they trying to think that they can sneak it in at 106 or?
Pass.
I mean, it's a lot of effort.
That's my point. It's like, but it's like, especially when I first started at Future, there were like 300 lots going through one auction at night, and it was one by one. So it's like the auction started at 7 p.m.
Oof.
Lot one. Bid, whatever. Okay, right, sound. Next one. Lot two. And you go through them all at lot 300. It's a fucking long night to be sat writing there if you have no intention to buy. Like, surely if you want to go and get a feel for it, maybe see, but you also want to know what you want to buy. Like, just going to an auction for the sake of going to an auction.
It's just pointless.
Pointless.
Do you get a lot of like emotive type? Because that sounds like quite emotive. That they go a bit starstruck and they're like, "Oh,
I have spoke to people, and they were like, "Oh, I got excited. Or what used to happen, which was quite good. Basically, say they were interested in one lot, and it went over what they were wanting, and then something seems cheap, they'll buy that. So like basically in their mind, I've already spent this money, and I want to buy a property. The one I had my eye on, I can't buy, so I'll buy this one. That happened a lot.
All right, so they're going in there going, I don't care what happens, I'm buying.
Yeah,
and then when they don't get the one,
buying something today.
So it's like
rather
going,
than going,
I'm going to lose 50k today.
I'm only
Blackjack
buy
roulette.
this one. Yeah, wow.
What's the you must have seen like you said a lot of emotive buyers, but what's the craziest one you've seen? Like start at 20k and ends at like 150, like just rattling like bid.
We had one recently. We actually had one at Prime that we had on, I think the opening bid was 15 grand and it went for 77, something like that.
Brilliant.
But I was sort of like, I'm in all the group chats and stuff like that, and there was one of the deal sources like, can anybody lend me 3 grand because I'm buying this for 25 grand and I just need money for the deposit, I've got the fees all sorted, I'll pay you this. And I was like, and like obviously it was on at a mentally low price, but on what fucking planet did you think that it was a 3-bed end terrace house?
That's just clearly take oh, come on.
It might go to 26, but not more.
I mean, it could. I mean, back in the days of it was a live auction. See if it's at night, it's pissing down with rain, and you're like, oh, do you know what? I can't be arsed going out to the auction tonight because I've just sat down. I've just like I can't be bothered, whatever, right? Whereas now it's all online, so stuff like that is good for the sellers. Shite for buyers because if they want to get their best possible deal, but that's a really good result for. But if only one bidder turned up to a live auction for that, it basically goes. It sells at reserve because I think the reserve for that was like 35 grand or something like that.
And what's like so obviously changing from live to maybe digital has probably been a big thing, but how do you see that kind of changing the landscape of like auction? Do you think it's all going to be digital one day? Like, how do you see it going in the next kind of 5 years or so?
Some people still like that. I mean, I've spoke to people like, when are you going to do live auctions? So why do you want to do it? It's like, I like seeing the whites in people's eyes. It's like, why the fuck? Like, you want to buy a property and you want to get a good deal. I mean, the majority of properties that we actually sell are before or after the live auction, because everyone comes to auction because they want it fucking sold. That's what I say. So if you went like, John, I want 50 grand, and I'm like, somebody's give us 55. You could wait another couple of weeks to the auction, whenever it is, or you can just take the offer. It's entirely up to you at that point. Or also, say you've had a property on with an estate agent for a year and you've had no offers, and then we bring you an offer, and it's like, do you want to take the risk of going to auction and it getting no bids, and then I have to go back to this one person that's interested, and then please offer again? So it's ultimately speaking to the sellers and understanding what their main role is. But I can't see. I want to say I can't see us ever doing live auctions. I don't want to say that, because I would like to do one probably more as a networking thing. Because if we can have a good auction, run the auction, and it's also we get to meet more of our buyers and sellers, then fantastic. But to be honest, it's fucking easier doing it online. It is just easier, because if we've got about 300 on our books at the moment.
Yeah. So
I have to stand up there. I know I love the sound of my own voice, but if you want to sit and listen to me count all night, then that's the benefit of doing a live auction, because you physically have to auction them one by one by one. When they're online, it's all online.
No, you just go whatever.
It's ultimately, if you want to bid on one property, you bid on that one. You can focus on that one. You don't have to sit through 50, 60, 70 other lots before you get to the one lot that you're interested in. You're like, I want to buy this one. This is the one I'm going to watch.
Yeah.
I think online as well is probably better for the buyer, because they're not getting that scare of what they're saying, right, I'm going to do my due diligence, as you say, on number 115, and then I've got a price already for it. If it goes above that, then I'll no bother with it. Yeah. Whereas, that whole, I've been to auctions and you're kind of like jumping, okay, I'll just go another $5,000. It's only $5,000. Whereas I think,
well, I think we still do get that though, because the way we run our auction is, so it finishes at 4:30, but if there's still live bidding going on in the lots, it will extend for a minute. So it's to stop. So say you were bidding on a property, and there was 100, and you're like the last 30 seconds, and then you jump in and bid 101, Steve, and then it's like you're like, well, fuck off. Like, I was winning it for ages at 100. So it would give you the opportunity to bid again, which I actually had somebody phone in and complain about. He was like, this is not right. And I was, excuse me?
What?
And he's like, this is not right. He's like, it's like a casino you're running in there. And I was like, no, it's an auction.
It's like an auction.
I was like, it's an auction. If there's still live bidding on the property, then it gives you an opportunity to bid again. The guy didn't bid on this property he was talking about. He's like, oh, I was like, you've not bid once. So you've never been in the game. You've just phoned me up to have a go. And obviously, because if it was the other way around, and as I say, if he'd bid and he was the highest bidder, and then somebody outbid him in the last second, he'd phone me up and be like, that's not fair, is it? No. So,
but you'd just be like that, bid more.
Yeah.
It's like eBay used to be as well. Do you remember?
When you described that, that's kind of how I was thinking about eBay, but
sniping. So it's called sniping at auction. So the world, and especially in live auctions, you used to see it all the time. So you would get, and people that used to buy a lot, and they usually stand at the back of the room, and then a lot goes mental. It's like bum 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 bum. Everyone's bidding away, and this guy doesn't touch anything, and then we're going once, going twice. Doof. Then he puts his hand up, and the guy's like, let's go, you're a fucker.
The only time I've really been, well, not the only time, but I think I bought my first car at auction, but we're in that charity event in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I'd probably seen, like, she was brilliant on the stage doing that. But there was a guy at the bar just nonchalantly drinking away, talking away, and he goes, going once, going twice. He goes, okay then. Yeah. And you just see the guy going, no. Yeah.
Like it was sniper at the bar.
It was like for events and tickets and some really cool prizes. I even just seen you get involved as well. Also, a few beers and whatever else. So you're like,
that was more my wife's. She's like, we're getting tickets.
Was it Billy Joel tickets?
Billy Joel. We're going. We got tickets for something else as well. Our mate spot that we're going.
Remember Mo was sitting, wanted tickets for the Man U game, I think it was. He's like, I'm going to bid on it. And opening the bid, he's like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Not that chance. He had his 40s, he's ready to go. He's like, fuck that, I'm not paying that for that. Brilliant. What about yourself? Comes to your anniversary yourself, you you buy properties, it's mostly HMOs you focus
So
on?
not mostly HMOs. It depends on what I'm really looking at. HMOs obviously, because I leave all my money in. I'm literally as far away as from this is what you need to do, buy refurbished finance. I buy it, I leave my money in, I want it to appreciate, and I collect the rent. So when buying HMOs, it's usually quite capital intensive because I dump a lot of cash in. But I like them because they're basically, I've got a couple of 5-bedroom houses, so I've got 5 1-bedroom flats, in my opinion, for cheaper than it would be to buy 5 1-bedroom flats, and then they rent well. So I like HMOs. I like stuff that you can rent to professionals as well. Quite area dependent. I've got a flat in Shawlands that is a great wee flat. So what's happened now? I'm buying a flat in Croftfoot at the moment. So the prices have just kind of, so Shawlands is kind of pushed into Battlefield, and Battlefield slowly pushing into Croftfoot, and so the prices are all just kind of going up and up and up. So I'm a big believer in buy good assets that you know are going to have tenants in. Because you're like, what happens if the rent doesn't get paid? I mean, touch wood. I've never had any issues with tenants not paying rent, but I'm buying in what I consider fairly good areas.
Good employability, like people who have good jobs and stuff, careers would.
Exactly.
Right, but that's across the board for anything. If what happens if someone doesn't pay you, then you have to work it another way to get the money.
So and I'm not over leveraged. I'm happy to. It's like I'm not buying the assets for the income. I'm buying it for a store of wealth. So leave the money in, let capital appreciation do its thing, and I do capital repayment mortgages as well. So
Just
effectively, the
debt
tenant
as well.
is paying down the debt for me. It's super unsexy. I understand that.
Do you buy a capital mortgage, or do you do like interest only but overpay?
So most of the time I'll just do capital repayment mortgages. Just don't give myself the
You're not
option.
bothered about the cash flow, and it's just more just pay down.
I do have one that is an interest only, but I do top up the capital because I bought that when interest rates went fucking bananas.
Right.
And I was like, I can't, like, it didn't make sense to buy it with a capital repayment mortgage. So I was like, I'll just buy it because it was a good deal. And I was like, I'll buy it and then I'll just top it up after. So basically for the year, then the rates kind of came down a bit. So
where do you see the kind of trend going? Because I mean, everybody's talking about massive portfolios right now, right? And because ADS and all sorts. Is that where you see it going, or do you see it's commercial, or what do you think?
I think people entering the market right now, it's a cost they have to pay. So ADS it's just another thing you've got to pay for if you want to buy property.
Just factor it in, like I said about the windows with in the auction. Just factor it in.
Factor it in. And again, if you're buying a massive portfolio, saving on 8%. So if you look at it as a seller's point of view, it's like, the buyer's saving on 8%, but they also still want it for like 20%, 25, 30% below. And this is where it's odd being a property investor, because the more properties you get in your portfolio, the harder it becomes to sell that fucking portfolio. Because if you've got a portfolio of 6, there's plenty of buyers for portfolios of 6. If you've got a portfolio of 150 properties, how many buyers realistically have you got for that portfolio, unless you're willing to take a big discount from it? So it's, as you scale your property portfolio, it actually becomes harder to sell the whole thing in one chunk. Obviously, I'm a big believer in, if you want to get the best value for a portfolio, split it up and just take your time selling it. But some people don't. I'm happy to. If you've owned it forever and you're like, well, the appreciation's been mental and technically it's worth fucking 10 million now, but I'll sell it for 8 million, you'll find buyers for it. But the pool is definitely not going to be as big as it would be if you just split up your 150 properties.
Yeah, I had one that was an Edinburgh one that was like 40. I was trying to talk to Matt about. The guy was adamant he wanted it as a oneer. And because it was Edinburgh, he had a fixed price in his head. And he was like, will I go to the auction? And I'm like, but the prices you want are more than you can ever imagine for every one of them. Your expectations are so high that you won't sell them. And you should split it. But the problem with splitting it is there's going to be 6 or 7 at the end that are just dog shite. And, and he's still wanting top dollar for them.
People like, oh, well, things are selling for 10%, 15% over, so I'll sell for the value. Like, if it's vacant and done up really nice, are you going to kick out all your tenants and sell them all vacant?
No,
like, no, it's not going to happen.
And what about course of your time as well, but like personal challenges. So obviously coming into property, you would have had a lot of learnings to come and a lot of experiences and maybe shit going wrong for you. Like, what's your probably biggest, I guess, learning and I don't want to say mistake, but something you went, shit, I fucked up there, and you've learned from, whether it be investing or even starting Prime, for example, or anything at all.
I'm fortunate in setting up Prime that I kind of had the blueprint before
because
I
previous jobs.
I did it.
Yeah.
My job has not changed one iota. I list a property, find a buyer, they pay me a deposit. The only difference is now I actually deal with the deposit, sending to solicitors and everything like that. But other than that, there's, as I say, I've kind of learnt from other people's mistakes, if you like. So there's nothing drastic that I was like, oh fuck, I shouldn't have done that. Maybe one thing. But
we have time. Go on, we'll edit it out if it's. We won't edit it out.
He'll tell us off camera and we'll pass it on.
Yeah, I'll tell you off here.
If not an auctioneer, then what would you be? Apart from a Tyson
Where do
Fury
you get these
lookalike.
questions from, by the way?
Do you know, I think, see, if I wasn't in property or property sales, I'd probably like to be like a stockbroker. I'd be in some sort of sales. I mean, I think that's just where my personality lies. But again, this is the game that I've chosen, and I enjoy it.
You love it.
I like to think as myself as a good middleman. I consider myself easy to deal with. Yeah, exactly that. So, but it's sales. I mean, the guy who deals for PPC, Jack, I mean, he's very similar to me in personality, and he's got his ad agency, and he just sells. So I sell properties, he sells ad space, and it's like that's all he does, and he's fucking great at it.
Although I'd say laughing again, go back to Jared event. He was trying to do magic tricks.
No, mate, honestly, he's got the same.
They're brilliant, but like I do like my magic. That sounds really geeky, right? But used to do it. And like card tricks and all that, he's doing it. I was like, I know that one, mate. I know that one, mate. It's like, yeah, kind of get me.
He always sits next to me at all the events we go to, and I've got to sit and hear them all. And then if we're sat in the middle of two groups, so we were away the rugby for Scotland v Ireland, and he sat beside me, so we were in the middle, and then he had half the team to be able to tell all his jokes and do his things to it, and then the other side, so I had to sit and listen to him do it fucking twice.
Yeah, I've heard these last
week.
Oh my
God!
So see how obviously you've got your own marketing. Well, first of all, do you set like goals and targets and things like that, or?
Oh yeah. So I mean, if we're also we track everything we do in the business. We're obviously looking to scale. We know how many properties we sold last year. We know how many we want to sell this year. We know kind of the metrics we need to do in order to get there. So it's
big KPIs. So see yourself that you've obviously kind of nailed the marketing. You've got homes under the hammer. Have you got like this is the next big thing I'm going to be doing?
I mean, Prime is still in its infancy. That's what I look at. We've only really been going 2.5 years. People always say it's like you guys have grown really fast, but then I'll say it's like, well, I've been doing it for over a decade. I know I look 20, but so
is that here that you've got your
it's a hard paper.
It will come. So for me, it's build Prime to be the biggest in Scotland. So we've got about 300 in our books. Future, I've got about 500-ish. So we need to double in size. And then from there, it's be the biggest in the UK. So Lewis is very, very good as a business partner because he will keep me on the straight road, the path that we're going down. Because when he was with me in the attic, he was like, should we do an estate agency, should we do that? And I was like, no, we just do auctions. Because it's very easy at that point. It's like, we just sell property at auction. There's no deviation. And then I'll get excited and I'm like, should we do this, should we do that? And he's like, we just do auctions. We just do auctions. Because it's, he always says, what Alex Hormozy says, if you just concentrate on the one thing, it's easier to build that thing to worth 100 million than it is to build loads of little things that are worth a million. So if we just focus on Prime, just keep on giving our clients a really good service, building block by building block by building block, then we won't need anything else. And we'll have the biggest auction house in the UK. And
you're selling UK to the Scottish market, or you're selling Scottish houses to the UK market?
So we sell just to the UK market. So we've sold properties in Wales. Funnily enough, it was a Welsh buyer. Sold properties down in Leicester, Bradford, and I mean it's all online. I mean, so If anybody, as long as we have it online and someone wants to buy it, they phone us up.
Yeah, because it's quite a good exit. Because like when doing Facebook ads, you sometimes will get leads coming out with your area. I'll get something down in England. I'm like, I've not got a radius in England, so how are you getting this? But you will get some through, and I'm like, okay, doesn't suit. Don't know the market. Who can we go to? And that's what I would send stuff to John at Prime to say like, can you get in touch with this guy and sell his house? And it's a good exit in that kind of sense. Even like up in, I can't remember. So just like major away. I'm like, I'm not traveling 5 hours. I'm like, John, do you fancy a 5 hour drive?
Well, we were obviously up in Alves near Elgin yesterday, and I was saying Nathan was with me, and I was like, have you ever been? And he's like, this is the furthest north I've ever been. But when I was at Future, I used to drive to all the properties and go to them all. So I've been up to fucking Wick and John O'Groats and stuff to see, and that's a long day drive. Go up, drive the whole day, go take the photographs of the properties, jump back in the car, head back down the road, get going through the Cairngorms like that.
Jesus, man.
I need sugar and caffeine.
I see a lot of retirement people buying houses in Spain, Dubai, Middle East, all that, Singapore. Is that something that you'd maybe think about looking into?
What's selling properties abroad?
Selling, yeah. Because I don't know, I don't see anyone doing like I mean, there's the usual type of estate agent type companies, but I don't see anyone that's kind of targeting that. I'm going to say retired, wealthy, sold a 8-bed and West End house kind of thing. Is that something you would think about? Or
I mean, the difficulty, if you're trying to set up abroad to sell, I mean, there's local agents for that stuff. Obviously, I'm an auctioneer and I know how to auction properties. Going into another market, say, for instance, Spain, I don't know the legislation. I don't know what the laws are around auctions when it comes to selling properties. I don't even know what the laws are for selling properties. So to go up and set up abroad, because obviously the guys are like, oh, we should set up a Prime Dubai. I don't think auction. There's many auction applicable stock. Quite
back to what you were saying, or maybe what Lewis was saying, was like focusing on that, because that's a different market. It's kind of like starting again, but as you're still getting infancy of where you are, like you say. So you're still trying to grow, and still loads of stock out here for you now. Yeah. Why even look at Dubai and Spain or whatever you're thinking? Like, cool, have a prime property Dubai. Yeah. But is it really necessary? You're still wanting to grow this to be absolutely.
One of my mates, what it is. He was the CEO of a very big whiskey cask company, and they built their brand on trading casks, and the owner of that company was determined to set up in the US, and they got on basically listed as so they can sell securities here. And he told me, he's like, it's an ego thing because they don't make any money from it. So ultimately they're pissing money up against the wall to say that they can trade out of New York. But whereas if they just stayed and built up and continued to do what they were doing here, they would be making loads more money from doing it. And that's kind of what I need to remind myself of, is like, instead of getting the shiny penny, it'd be good to do that, it'd be good to do that. If we just focus on doing the one thing and do it better than anybody else, then we can make a shit ton of money.
I'll go up in the magpie because he just sees a shiny object. He goes, oh, when did that? Ooh,
I love that. I love a shiny penny. But you're right about Alex Hormozy as well. You're right. He's just the UK stick to what you know, increase it rather than 15 increases.
Lewis had a big Hormozy fan, isn't he? Lewis just had a baby.
So I introduced him to it. He was sat, and then I was like, so I was saying, I was like, this guy, but I was like consuming loads of his content. But then Lewis just went down the rabbit hole and has consumed everything he's ever said, I think, which has been fantastic for our business.
The nose stripe, the nose strip thing.
Oh mate, there was loads of the guys wearing nose strips for ages in the office, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
You don't get so nosy. So
well, that's what I thought.
I did say to him, do you train? And he's like, no, it's for breathing. I was like, right.
Just breathe. Okay. Breathe. I think Lewis and I actually used to do kickboxing and things like that, so I think he's actually had his nose broken, so maybe it did help him breathe a little bit. But all the guys were wearing them for ages, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
So as we I'll start to bring is it the gavel?
The gavel.
Bring it down.
Take it down.
Last 2 questions, so bit of fun on it. Guilty pleasure of yours, out with property and everything else.
Guilty pleasure? Give me an example.
Do you sit and watch Kardashians in your Kardashians pajamas or anything like that? There's something you go, I don't know, John, don't like that.
Hand make your own pasta.
I suppose it's like my guilty pleasure.
You like watches, do you not?
But again, I'm guilt free about my love for watches, so it's not really good. But then I was speaking to somebody the other day, and so my wife will sit and she'll look at clothes and she'll look at different things. At night, I'll sit and I just scroll through fucking Watchfinder or Chrono 25, and do you know what? It's so mental how quickly you can desensitize that word I can't say.
Get away from it.
yourself of how expensive a watch is. I started looking at watches with like £500,000, and I'm like, that's a nice watch. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
$500,000. I mean, that's only like 10 profits.
Just telling myself like, oh yeah, that's it. I like doing stuff. That is the sad thing. I like looking at the luxury items. I started looking at yachts the other day. Yachts are fucking expensive.
More than a watch.
They are really expensive. So I was like, how much? And then I start tying it back to like, how many properties?
Yeah.
Well, I need
like
to sell
that's how you're justifying it, aren't you?
If I want to get a yacht, and then I'll be like, I don't want to buy a yacht because that's too expensive. How much does it cost to rent it?
Get for that, though?
How much does it cost to rent that? And then I'm like, oh well, I could, instead of renting that yacht, I could buy a watch. like what the hell is going on?
And then you're well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to buy any of those 3 watches, so I've saved that, so that's that money for the yacht.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Prime property yacht, Jesus. Parties you would have on that. And then lastly, best piece of advice you've been given you'd like to give to somebody else?
Never eat yellow snow.
Not was it? That's a good bit of advice. To be fair.
I don't know. Trust the process. Like fucking, I think with Instagram, everyone's so like it needs to happen now, and I'm guilty of it as well. I mean, me and Lewis are very hard on ourselves that we want to be further on, but sometimes you got to take a step back and look and say you've done really well.
Yeah.
So if you trust the process and believe in yourself,
good.
Do you ever come back like recap? Because I know a lot of the time, I'm going to say that you're probably a little bit like this. I am like. I think someone once said to me, it's like you're on a football pitch and you're at the halfway line and you're running to the goal, but goals are actually just always further away. Do you ever recap and go, look what I done last year?
I like to look forward and I like to chase people that are doing better than me, because it's very easy to go like, you turn around and go, oh, well, I'm doing better than X, Y, Z, or look back. But if you want to progress, your goals have to move. Otherwise, you just stay stagnant. And I am broken fundamentally in my head. And I know it's like, it doesn't matter how much money I earn, I'll always want to earn more. It doesn't matter how many properties I sell in a month, I'll always want to sell more. But that's what I like to do. And having those goals makes me happy. I'm not like if I do this, I'll be happy. Like I'm happy. Like I was happy when I was fucking at uni making no money. I'm happy right now. In 10 years' time, I'll be happy with what I do. But having those next goals to set, like, excellent, I've done that. Because the podcast I did earlier on, the guy was like, what was one defining moment you would say you're really proud of? And see, when we got the keys to the new office, there was proper, like, I was very proud of what me and Lewis have managed to achieve in the time we had from just going from me and him being like genuinely the desks were like this size and on top of each other.
I remember seeing you. I think you posted a video or a picture and you standing up in that. I think you're like crouched down.
It's not. I mean, it's not. It's smaller than this room. And as I say, so just being able to go from where we were to where we are. Yeah, it does make me feel happy and proud of what we've done. But it doesn't mean like I'm going to stop there. Okay, it's like, how many more people can we hire into the team? How many more properties can we sell? Like, how many people can we help get their properties sold that they can't fucking sell?
So I suppose, to sound American, it's more like a journey than a end result. Yeah, because you just
continues on.
Yeah, you always, if you just stop your goals, then you get fucking pretty bored. I know plenty of people that have exited businesses and retired, and then I meet them at another networking event. What are you doing? I bought another business because I was fucking bored of my art. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I need something to keep going. So if you're that way inclined, you'll always want to do something.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the people that just want to sit about doing nothing are not going to get to where you get to be able to sit about and do nothing.
Good. Brilliant. And if people want to reach out to sell their homes, or even because as selling sources coming into the market and trying it, sometimes don't always have an exit. They can obviously come to you guys to help get it as well.
So I mean, if anybody's looking to buy a property, primepropertyauctions.co.uk. Obviously, all our properties are on there. If you've got a property you want to sell, again, you can go on there, click the link, sell my property. And if you are a sourcer that can't sell one of the properties you got in your books, reach out to me or Lewis. So I'm John_property_auctioneer. Lewis is Lewis_property_auctioneer. Give us the details of the person looking to sell, and we'll contact them and hopefully get it sold to them. And then we pay handsome referral fees once it's done.
Yep. And it is
fantastic.
Such an easy process as well. Having done it myself, it's just John going to sell this for me.
What's that? You owe me an invoice. Send me the invoice. I think you were like, I can't believe you fucking sold that one. It's like, yep, just send me the invoice. We'll get you paid.
Yeah, that's fine. Cool, perfect, Living. Again, thank you very much for coming on and giving us your time. It's been really insightful for an auction side of things, and obviously just to hear more about your story as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Top man.
Cheers, guys.